All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our BCBA practice question series, where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out behavioranalyst.study.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, please let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. A behavior analyst has implemented a reinforcement-based intervention to increase on-task behavior in a classroom. After 3 weeks, data show no significant improvement in the client's on-task behavior, and feedback from the teacher indicates dissatisfaction with the intervention's results. What is the best course of action for the analyst? So when trying to determine where to go with an intervention, we've got to consider different things. Number one is data. We make data-based decisions. Number two is going to be the stakeholders. How do the people that are impacted by the intervention feel about it? In this case, we have an analyst who has an intervention that's been going on for 3 weeks. Now, there's no set standardized timeline for how long we should or shouldn't do an intervention, but 3 weeks is a relatively long time as far as behavior analysis goes. So after 3 weeks, we have no improvement in the on-task behavior. So first off, the data are not good. Second, the teacher is dissatisfied with the results as well, because sometimes you'll have data that show no improvement, but let's say the parents are happy with how things are going. In this case, we have poor data and the stakeholders are dissatisfied. After 3 weeks, what is the best course of action from here? A, continue the intervention for at least one more week to make a full month. Well, if you're just going to do another week just to hit an arbitrary month, you're just wasting time and resources. You have a lot of information already. Continuing on is unlikely to change anything without changing something else first. B, increase the use of non-contingent reinforcement as part of the intervention. There's no information here that would say that non-contingent reinforcement would be the proper next step. So B would just be simply guessing. C, begin to adjust the intervention after further analysis. Yes, we have 3 weeks of data. Data aren't good. The stakeholder is dissatisfied. We have no progress. Let's start to make adjustments to our intervention after a little more analysis. You cannot get married to your interventions, even though you might think they're the best intervention. It's the one that should work. We have to trust the data and what our stakeholders are saying. You've got to be flexible and you've got to keep things fluid and organic. D, discontinue the intervention and target another behavior. Well, we're still worried about the behavior in question, which is on-task behavior. And so given our information and our data and the stakeholder feedback, the best thing we can do now is adjust that information or adjust that intervention after further analysis. A behavior analyst is observing a child's tantrum behavior and documenting that tantrums occur after the child is denied access to preferred items. After several observations, the analyst begins to predict that the child will tantrum when denied access. The analyst then implements an extinction procedure, which reduces the tantrum behavior over time. Which level of scientific understanding does implementing the extinction procedure represent? So be careful here, right? We have a couple different things. First, when we talk about scientific understanding, we're talking about goals of science. And our goals of science include description, prediction, and control. In this case, we've got this analyst. They've observed behavior and documented that tantrums occur after the child is denied access. So that would just be description. The analyst is simply describing what happened. After several observations, the analyst is now predicting or hypothesizing that the child will tantrum when denied access. So we have our description. We've made a prediction. And now what happens when we implement the extinction procedure? Well, the tantrum behavior reduces. So we now have actual control over the behavior. So if we look at A, description, description is that first piece, right? We're just saying what happened. The tantrums occur when the child is denied access. We're just describing what happens. Then we are predicting that the child will tantrum when denied access. So we've described it, we've predicted it. Once we actually start experimenting and intervening, we're trying to gain control and establish a functional relationship with our intervention and the behavior. That's what we've done here. Extinction is successful at reducing the tantrum behavior over time. So the level of scientific understanding that's occurred after or when the extinction procedure was implemented is control. We are now controlling that behavior over time. Dereplication has to do with baseline logic and not scientific understanding. Here, we are controlling that behavior through our intervention. It appears to have a functional relationship. See control. A child is taught to say, I want juice to request a drink during snack time. During lunch at home, the child independently uses phrases like, can I have juice and give me juice to request the same item, even though these phrases were not directly trained. What do these responses most demonstrate? So let's think about what responses we're talking about. We have these responses, can I have juice, give me juice, that are being used to request a drink and were not directly trained. So in other words, we had a situation where the child was taught to say, I want juice to request a snack. Then the child started to say, can I have juice? And give me juice. So all these responses are occurring in the presence of this stimulus. What do we call that when multiple responses start to occur in the presence of a single stimulus? A, maintenance. Why can't it be maintenance? Well, we did not directly train these. These were not taught. And so without teaching, we're not going to consider something maintained. What about B, response generalization? Response generalization occurs when new and novel responses start to happen in the presence of a stimulus. In this case, can I have juice and give me juice are the generalized responses in the presence of the stimulus. With stimulus generalization, we have a single response that is occurring in the presence of multiple stimuli. Here we have multiple responses, so we're not generalizing the stimuli, we're generalizing the responses. And then de-spontaneous recovery has to do with extinction and clearly is not relevant given the information. So we don't know its maintenance, right? We weren't teaching it, and then we weren't sure if the behavior actually maintained. All we know is these responses are demonstrating response generalization. The technician is implementing an extinction procedure to reduce a client's screaming behavior, which was previously reinforced with detention. During the first few sessions, the screaming temporarily increases in frequency and intensity. The technician feels unsure about how to proceed. What is the most appropriate way for the technician to respond to the behavior? So think about this as not only an extinction question, but also a management feedback question. If you're in this situation where you have a technician who's implementing extinction and we're trying to extinguish screaming, during extinction, that screaming, that target behavior, temporarily increases in frequency and intensity. Now, stop there. What would you say is happening? Well, I would say that's an extinction burst. If we implement extinction for screaming, and that screaming at first increases, we are looking at this extinction burst. Think about our chart. If behavior is here and we implement extinction, we expect it to start to go up at first. And so if this is occurring, what are you going to tell the technician to do? A, stop the extinction procedure immediately to avoid escalating the behavior. Well, we're not going to stop extinction because it appears to be working. So there's no reason to stop it in the midst of an extinction burst. In fact, when an extinction burst is occurring, that's when we need to be most diligent about extinction. B, continue implementing the extinction procedure consistently while ensuring the client's safety. Yes, embrace the extinction burst, double down, and make sure the client is safe, but make sure extinction is happening as often as possible. C, begin using punishment to suppress the behavior quickly. Well, there's no reason to start using punishment in this extinction procedure, which appears to be effective. D, reinforce the screaming behavior temporarily to reduce its intensity. Well, that's the last thing we want to do. If that behavior did increase in frequency and intensity, we don't want to start reinforcing it and making it worse. We want to just embrace the fact that we have this extinction burst and continue implementing the extinction procedure consistently while ensuring the client's safety. Squeaky Pete's Bar has a drink special that allows for free beer all afternoon for just $20. The manager of the bar wants to know how many beers the bar serves per hour while the special is active. What type of measurement should the manager use? Very straightforward measurement question, right? If you get an easy question on your exam, don't overthink it. Trust your preparation, answer it, and take the point. In this case, we're trying to determine what measurement the manager should use. We know that the manager is trying to measure beer per hour. Now, when we talk about something per a unit of time, what are we referring to? Because if we look at A, frequency will tell us how many beers, for example, but it's not going to tell us the per hour. Latency is going to tell us the time in between an SD and the first response, but that's not what we're looking for. Duration is going to give us the total length of time, but it's not going to give us a frequency of beers. What we want is rate. Rate is frequency over time. And in this case, that's going to be beers per hour. And so if we want to measure beers per hour, we're going to use D rate. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials. Subscribe for all of our content. We are now starting our 6th edition task list review. We have the full reviews already up. We're going to go each individual task list item now, just like we did for the 5th edition. Other than that, keep working hard, keep studying hard, and we'll see you soon.